Okay, I know I said I had nothing else to say, but I was apparently lying because the last video got me thinking about something else to do with how alters speak, which I feel is relevant to what I was discussing, and I'll just add a part 2 to the previous video at some point, which will be this. And the second thing that got me thinking was that a lot of people in our system share mannerisms and sort of common phrases, fillers within conversations if we don't know what to say or how to break up a sentence, that kind of thing. And I think it's something we struggle with a lot because we feel like alters should all be completely different. We're all different people, we all sound different in a world. We have different backgrounds, nationalities, ways of speaking, and when we are fronting, why doesn't that come through exactly the same? Why don't we all appear completely different to one another? And why, when we are being open about who we are, do we not just all sound and appear glaringly different? Because that is a lot of how DID is presented. Obviously, if people are trying to show the differences between alters or they are trying to make people aware of how it works, it's natural that, especially on social media and stuff, alters really do show their individuality. And while we are all comfortable sitting in front of the camera and sharing our experiences or posting on Instagram as individuals or hanging out with friends as individuals, there are so many things that we all have in common that we all become aware of, and it makes us question our validity. For example, again, with the conversation fillers, for example, we all tend to look down when we're filming and we can't think of anything to say, and we all have the same moment. And when we watch our videos back to make sure they're okay to post, we catch ourselves doing it and we think, people are going to see this and start to realize that actually we're all exactly the same and therefore we are faking, which obviously denial is such a huge issue for a lot of systems, and I'm not going to get sidetracked and go into that, but it is one of the biggest triggers for our issues with that. And I would like to take it back to the whole, it's meant to be a covert disorder thing. You're not actually supposed to be able to tell the difference. We spend so long pretending to be the same person or to act as the same person in order to keep the system safe that it is then natural that we get into the habit of picking up certain mannerisms and ways of speaking. And secondly is that we technically all share a brain and we are all leading one person's life. So it is completely normal and understandable that there will be certain habits that we pick up off each other. And I'd imagine there are more systems out there that are the same way. And again, switches don't have to be obvious. For some systems, when different alters are fronting, they all sound the same out here and you would never be able to tell the difference. And that is super important to keep in mind if you're ever feeling like you aren't different enough from others in your system, or that it isn't obvious enough that you have switched or that you are different people. And I forgot what I was going to say, so I'm going to temporarily pause this until I remember it. So my brainwave came back. And what I was going to say is that there is also the aspect that a lot of the time, if someone is fronting, they often have people co-conscious or talking at them, or you're ever so slightly dissociated, or a blur between two people, because obviously switches don't have to be black and white. This is this person, this is that person. We are completely different, and we always know who we are when we're fronting. So if somebody is nearby or you're dissociated, it makes complete sense that you would start to speak or act like them. If you are different to them when you front, like completely different, it would make sense that if somebody's nearby, you start to pick up their traits and mannerisms as well. So there is a lot of reasons that alters might share mannerisms or habits, and that does not change the validity of alters. I feel like I've repeated that a lot during these two videos, but it is super important to remember that. So if you're ever feeling like you don't sound different enough, or it's not obvious that it's you fronting, or your accent does not come through, or that you have certain habits that are the same as other people in your system, that it makes any change at all to who you are and whether or not you are real. And I know this has kind of been a big old circle of, well, we struggle with this, so I'm going to talk to the internet about it. But I think it is something that's common, and it's okay to discuss it, especially if other people are going to be able to relate to what you're saying. So we just love to validate people, apparently, on this channel, and hopefully that will continue, because everyone's different, every system is different, and there's a lot of things that people expect a system to be, and it's not always that way. And I'm going to say it again, it was nice to meet everybody, and I hope you're all doing okay with the quarantine thing, and that life will go back to normal before too long.